Hi, I'm Leather Rock. Welcome to my channel. You're wondering why I'm holding this apple, huh? Well, I want to tell you my adventure today working on manifesting an iPhone. Well, thank you, some of you, for believing in me that you think I have the ability to do this. I'm going to start from the beginning. I have a local friend who I've known literally for decades. He's someone who has outlived some other friends, who has taken me and others on adventures. As a matter of fact, somebody who I was supposed to go to Washington, D.C. with a couple of times, but never happened. But lately he has been telling me that he's been wanting to get me an iPhone. Now, I have not encouraged this because I'm not a user, okay? Even though this person does have lots of resources and he is in a position to do this. And what he was going to do is he was going to get one of those family plans that is one of the major big companies or something, or maybe it's a different company, I don't know, but there's supposed to be a family plan. And 4 lines are included. It's $100 a month, meaning $25 a line, and it's supposed to include an iPhone or 4 iPhones. Okay, so he wanted to put me on his family plan. And he even wanted to get a line for my mother so that she would feel safer when I had to be gone for a couple hours or something. You know, it would probably make my mom feel safer if something happened and she could get a hold of me. And, it would actually be a good thing in many respects. So finally today, the guy shows up at my house, right? And actually, it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that, right? And I was fortunately already dressed because I was getting ready to do a video. And a lot of times, even if I don't have a subject plan, I get dressed and everything just in case, so that at least I'm ready. So he shows up. I make him coffee. I'm trying to pay attention to my mother. I'm trying to pay attention to him. I'm letting him store 2 pieces of luggage in a spare room here, okay? Because he is, I think, in between places, or maybe he's sleeping in his truck, or I don't know exactly what the deal is, but he wants me to go with him to, I think, a Metro PCS store or something. And there are so many, here in Atlantic City, you have so many cell phone provider little stores and places that say that they fix cell phones and things, but they're not really. They sell some unlocked phones and devices, but for the most part, these are stores that sell the monthly data plans. All right. So he says he wanted me to go with him to a check cashing place because he had a family member who was wiring him some money, Western Union. And then he wanted me to go with him to one of these cell phone places so that he could put me on his plan, right? And since I've been trying to manifest a real iPhone because they seem to have certain capabilities that would really enhance my filming for this channel, one of the big things that I like about iPhones, I've been studying these. There was a recent new Apple announcement where they showed the capabilities of all their new devices, and I've been watching and reading all different kinds of articles from different companies about the pros and cons of the latest Apple devices as opposed to a few years ago. And some things aren't necessarily improvements, and it can get really technical, and I am a specs person when it comes to my tech. I want to know how fast the processor is. I want to know how much storage room, hard drive space, whatever there is for the media we create. I want to know uh, how fast it's going to take for editing and rendering or whatever. I'm a specs person. And I realize a lot of people who buy tech aren't necessarily specs people. All they're looking at is the bottom line. Well, among all the information that I did on my research, I found out a lot of these family plan things, you're limited to a phone that only holds 256 gigabytes, which I would think would be the absolute bare minimum. All right, and I also know that Apple products, you don't have any user serviceable parts in them. They don't usually include schematics. They're very hard to fix. You can't add extra memory to them. You can't, you screw up your warranty. You can't do things with them. You can't. You also can't add something to them to add more storage so that you have more room when you're filming. Just things. They don't have ports and things. You're very limited in what you can do. That's the one thing about them. So anyway, I'm walking around with my friend. He's taken forever in the check cashing place. I had no idea I was going to be gone this long. I didn't want to leave my mom unattended this Well, because it was really early in the day, and like, what if she fell? What if she's hungry? What if she was thirsty? I like to be attentive, and obviously you can't be attentive when you're running around town. Okay, so it gets more interesting. So he comes out of Western Union. He goes to a different Metro PCS place than the first one we went to. Now, this lady's telling him that all the phones in her store have a top limit of 128 gigabytes. That is such a tiny amount. When you're storing things up with video and pictures, you use that up real fast. You're probably lucky to get, if you're a hardcore creator like I am, you're probably lucky to get 4 months out of that. Okay, so, and the lady was saying all this stuff. Okay, and he needed to transfer his phone number. He didn't remember his phone number. He didn't have a phone on him. He wanted to try to use the lady's store phone to call my house to get the number off of my mom's phone's caller ID to find out what his number was so that he could transfer it. Well, later on, of course, I found out that my mom deleted all those messages except for a few of them, and he had assumed that the caller ID was going to pick it up, but because he left a message, there was no record. We didn't have his number anyway, so that wouldn't have worked. So anyway, the lady finally lost patience with him and told him that maybe he should just go to another store. She was kind of not what you call the most, she didn't have a great bedside manner for working with the public, okay? Meanwhile, I was really lost patience this time, even though part of me was saying, Leather, if you have a chance of getting this, you should be more patient. But I was just, you ever have one of these afternoons when you just kind of had it? And I know I was a little snippy, and I could kind of tell that I was turning into a little bit of an asshole. And, I don't want to be a jerk. I really don't. And I want to be patient with my friend because he's had some strokes and he has diabetes. And some people on diabetic medications, they act like they're inebriated, but they're not. They slur their speech because, well, I don't know what exactly it is, but I know that he's not a drug user. He doesn't drink. Well, alcohol would be very dangerous to diabetics anyway, because alcohol, I think it's converted back to sugar, which of course is dangerous for them and stuff. So anyway, I think, hell with this, I'm going to leave the store. And as soon as I leave the store, I didn't realize it had been raining. And it was really coming down hard. Fortunately, not thunder and lightning, because I have a phobia about lightning. Well, I'm walking, you notice it kind of revived curl in my hair, which is one cool good thing about getting caught in the rain. And I just took my time walking home so that I would get as wet as possible so that, make my hair look nice, right? And I figured that he was going to, after getting done arguing with this lady, I figured he was going to come back here, but of course he never did. His stuff's still here, at least it's going to be safe, okay? So, but the bottom line, these places around here, first of all, there probably wasn't the chain that I thought. And I don't even know what all, I would think that we all want to pay, if you have to pay a data plan, you want to pay as little as possible a month. And the thing is, I have a situation right now where my mother is still dealing with my storage out in LA and stuff. I'm not in a position to get any more bills, and neither is she for that matter. So all I know is I don't know if I'm going to get that. It would have been nice. And one nice thing about if you have an iPhone, then when I'm actually doing live streams, there's an easy fix to get rid of the mirror selfie image, the selfie camera thing. Whereas I haven't found a workaround on Android devices. And I'm just trying to make sure that this channel stays, that I never run out of equipment, that I'm able to film outside, that I don't have to worry about, oh, do I have enough space for filming? Can I make this video that I need to make? Am I going to be able to take this device where I need to go, get past security, do what I need to do, all that stuff. So, okay, so I don't know that I'm any closer to getting the iPhone than I was, but let's see. Alright, I will talk to you later and let you know how this goes. Hope you're not getting rained on. It's raining again outside, but we probably need it. Okay, yeah, nobody wants a drought, do you? I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.